Okay, so I think we're back on air. Good evening, guys. We are broadcasting the last segment of our coverage of the South African interprovincials. My name's Henny Fick, and I hope we're going to see some interesting hands. The Western Cape leading have built up a very decisive, probably, and nice lead in the last segment. 38-0, not something that we generally want to write home about. And it looks like a good start here for the East-West side. Again, all the actions in the bidding seemed pretty standard and normal. One club, two hearts, weak jump overcall, a negative double by Peter Ward. And I think North did best too, but two spades, which ended the final or ended the auction. I can't see how Declare is going to make this. The cards are pretty bad for him. North, I think North, even although I think North rated that or argued that the Queen of Clubs was mostly or most likely to be in the West End and therefore took the club finesse. And I do think that that analysis is half right, but the risks of taking a club finesse into East, when we know that West is out of hearts and that East has got the remaining hearts, it is a little bit risky. I still can't completely fault North for finessing the club that way. The likelihood would definitely have been for the Queen generally to be in the West End. So I think he's a little bit unlucky here, I must admit. But if he wanted to safeguarding him against the East End ever coming in, he should have maybe followed a different line of play. Okay, so in the other room already we can see that two spades did go down by North. I think it's just a question of how many. We're going to see it go down here. It looks like 7. It looks like 2 off as well. So a washboard. All right, let's hope for some interesting bridge and see whether Southern Cape can potentially manufacture some sort of a comeback. We have Dinia Manwala and Nancy's wife, East-West, and Peter Ward and Mark, I've forgotten his surname now, in the North seat. All right, so North can't manufacture anything other than 1-0 trump. A raise to 2-0 trump by Peter. For the aggressive ones of us, maybe a raise to 3-0 trump with the South cards. I always take the more conservative route because 2-0 trump raise would be showing 18, 19 points, and I don't want to punish my partner for now and again responding on the odd 5 or bad 6 points. So I thought Pete might take the more aggressive route. Of course, in these auctions, we always prefer or tend to prefer major suit leads. Let's see what tricks we can count for Declarer. 3 spade tricks, a heart is 4. I think Declarer's best bet, and I think we'll see it in the play. He'll probably play up to the king and queen of diamonds as that's his best and strongest suit. He might just as well use the spade entries as well to take a finesse up to the king, queen of diamonds. So it should go queen of spades, small diamond up to the queen. Interesting line of play. If we play a diamond up to the queen and West does play the jack and we trust that card as a true card, Declarer might decide to play a diamond off the deck, so that when he's in his hand, we're assuming we're getting back to his hand with the king of spades, so that he can play another diamond up at that point in time. So I think this is the best line of play, because it also gives Declarer a play if the clubs in some way behave quite nicely. So Declarer would have a chance here with the clubs, with the king of clubs on side and the clubs breaking as well. So unfortunately, putting the 9 in is not going to bring the club suit home ever. So I think that's a rather unfortunate play by North. I think he should just play it up to the queen and taken his chances and played a diamond up to the king again. Okay, so based on whatever's happened on the first trick, the 9, Nancy put in the 9. She could, I suppose she could have still had the king, although not too likely. Okay, so unfortunately Declarer is going to get the bad news pretty soon that diamonds aren't breaking, and unfortunately for him there's no way to recover from that later on. Okay, he'll regret a little bit now that he didn't put up the queen of clubs earlier. Although I think we can see that it's a pretty hard hand to make. I don't think it was makeable at all from the start. The division of the suits is killing us on this hand. So just for everybody that was bidding 3-no trump automatically by the south hand, with a 19-point hand and a 5-card suit, with the north hand, we needed, so the auction would have gone 1-no trump, 2-no trump, and then a 3-no trump acceptance by north with the 7 count. And we can see that this contract is still very, very far from being ice cold. So don't overbid these 18, 19 balanced hands. Don't bid them straight to 3-no trump if you follow an aggressive, responsive style where you do respond on 5+ points, which I think is the trend nowadays. Rather hold back a little bit. Your partner will know what you've got if you've rebid 2-no trump on 18, 19 and make his own arrangements based on what he can see in his hand. All right, so it doesn't look like all is lost here. Declarer has escaped for 1 off. Again, he will be regretting that after ace of clubs and another club that he didn't go in with the queen. All right. So again, I do think North South in the other room they're going to have similar problems. I'll be surprised if they come in with a positive score. Interesting, yeah, the declarer didn't take his last chance. Probably knew he settled for one off. That's normally not something that we would do in a team's environment, except if we trusting the opponent's carding explicitly. So he must have had a good feeling that the King of Hearts was on his right, and therefore decided to not take the heart finesse. All right, so pass. I think West has got a normal one heart opening bid here for some of us. Maybe not at the vulnerability. Okay, so unfortunately, we'll put it down to commentator's curse. In the other room, 3-no trump was made, where South upgraded her hand to 2-no trumps, counting 19 points in a 5-card suit, and we got to 3-no trump. Okay, so in the modern world of lighter opening bids, I'm a little bit surprised that Nancy decided in West not to open a heart. But I do think that the outcome would have pretty much the same, except the opening lead here. It would have probably gone a heart and no trump, and that would have ended the auction again. Sorry, I just realized that I muted myself, and I've been talking to myself, which I have been doing most of the day. So apologies for that. Up to now, not too much to reflect on here, except the fact that the West End might have opened the bidding and North would have overcalled a no trump, and that would have ended the auction. Okay, so I've just I've lost my link to the table. I'll just get it back quickly. Okay, that's better. So Declare is making, what does it look like? 8 tricks. Yeah. Of course, with 8 balanced points opposite a no trump opening or overcall, that is not the material with which we would like to invite. So good on Peter for not inviting. All right. Looks like another pretty average boring hand. East has got 11 points. West has got East has got 13 points. West has got 11. So the limit of the hand is probably going to be 2 no trump. It will depend on whether anybody invites in this auction, and whether that invite maybe to game does get accepted. Were East-West to end up in 3 no trump, and East played it, the likelihood is that that might get made from the East side, because a spade lead is unlikely from the South seat. But of course, if West becomes the declarer in a no trump contract, we are going to get a spade lead from the North hand, which will ultimately defeat the contract in 3 no trump. We can see that declarer in a no trump contract will have 4 club tricks, 2 diamond tricks plus 1, depending whether they guess where the queen is. So that could be 7 tricks, an 8th trick in spades, and a potential of a 9th trick if we were allowed to set up a heart trick. So in a range here of 6 to 11, there is no way that East will accept any form of game invite or make an attempt to get to game, and this will rest in 1 no trump. A balanced 11 count starts looking more like a 10 count anyway, so with 13, that's also balanced. We should generally not look at game. All right, so here we are back to normal leading theory without, here with Queen Jack of spades and no other touching honors or cards like the 10 or the 9. Theoretically, North should have led a small one. Now, unfortunately, due to him leading the Queen, we have blocked the suit because of South's King Doubleton. South should have, on the lead of the queen, potentially have overtaken with the king and try to clear the suit for partner, hoping for something like Queen Jack 10, or Queen Jack 9. Unfortunately, West will now make a lot of tricks, because that spade suit has just died due to, I can't call it a terrible lead, but theoretically an incorrect lead, and you can see the problems that arise when our partner's got on a doubleton. First of all, we might crash a singleton in our partner's hand. We've got problems with on a doubleton where the suit might be blocked, and so on. So I think North was let off the hook by East-West not being in 3-no trump played from the west side. I'm not going to try and predict the auction in the other room. It is not inconceivable that East-West might get a little bit higher than 1-0 trump. I think the 6-11 1-0 trump by West really put the brakes on and made sure that we didn't get overboard at this table. Okay, so West happy to settle for 8 tricks. Okay, so nice low contract. It will be interesting to see the result in the other room. There is half a chance that East-West there could potentially reach 3-no trump, although I doubt it. Not too impressed with these hands, Robbie. Can't you deal another set? They're pretty boring and uninteresting up to now, I think. Again, a lot of balanced shape around the table. If you do complain about your balanced hands, I do have a feeling, I'm not sure of the exact stats and probabilities, but I do think that about 66% of hands at least are balanced hands. So do not be surprised if you pick up a balanced hand. All right, so here we've got a 12 count in 4th seat. Some people prefer to use the rule of 15, adding their high card points when they're on the cusp of whether they should open the bidding or not. They add their high card points and the number of spades that they hold in the hand, and if that gets to 15, they are happy to open, otherwise not so. But I don't think any one of us would pass in 4th seat with this, even with this crummy hand. I won't be surprised if the auction goes 1 club, 1 heart, pass by West, just being happy to play in any contract, quite frankly, knowing that she's opposite a passed hand. other than a one pass. West should be bidding 1-0 trump, showing 12 to 14. And that might very well end the auction for us. Depends how what feeling Dinya has about his hand. Is he going to take this out into 2 hearts? And normally with a 5-card suit, we've basically followed the same theory and that we would apply to a 1-0 trump opening bid. If we have a 5-card major, we transfer, and with weak points we just pass. It's pretty much adopted in these type of situations as well, where our partner rebids a no trump. She could easily have 3-card support for our 5-card suit, and therefore we take the chance and make that the trump suit. And in this case, that has a pretty good outcome because we've got a nice 8-card fit. All right, so an interesting position here in the heart suit. Dinya playing up to an honor. The honor wins, and now when North plays the 10 or the jack, Dinya will play a low card, hoping that the position, we know that the ace is in South, we hope that it's exactly ace doubleton, and in that way we prevent more than one heart loser. Again, a little bit surprising that North didn't put up the king of diamonds rather than let it go around on the opening lead. Fortunately for him here, it won't cost his side a trick because he will still make the king of diamonds in time to come. Okay, so Declarer may lose 2 spade tricks, no heart tricks, a diamond, and whether he'll make more tricks will depend on whether he guesses the position of the queen of clubs. I'll think he'll play a bit and try and get a count of the cards and a count of who's got the length, etc., etc., and then try and find out maybe who's got the greater length in the club suit. So the only hint pertaining to distribution that he's got at this point in time is that South had 2 hearts and North 3. Okay, so North performed a bit of a crocodile coup there, overtaking our partner's trick to get to his hand. And I think this is going to cost his side an unfortunate trick with the 9 of spades now being established in dummy. So no guessing the club suit anymore, and Declarer will make 9 tricks. All right, so again, not too much fireworks on this hand, but the play in the heart suit, quite importantly, you play up to the 1 honor, and if that holds, if you're missing the ace, jack, and 10 in the suit, the relevant suit, you play up to the 1 honor. If that holds, it's an indication that the ace is on the side, the hand that you played through, and therefore the best way to eliminate another loser, this is with 8 cards or less, is to just duck around and hope that we're playing for a 3-2 split. So you're hoping that the hand with the ace had exactly 2 cards, and in that way you can then use your remaining honor to draw the outstanding other trump. Okay, so East-West playing four card majors, I think. So a 2-club bid now, unless South has got ambitions to get into this auction with a pretty flimsy diamond suit. Okay, not totally unexpected. West would have bid 2 clubs, but now has got new decisions to make. So simply because they do play 4-card majors, she's happy to now show partner the 5th heart. All right, so just something about the 2-level overcall. Again, I do see a lot of these 2-level overcalls on 5-card suits, balanced hands, 5-card suits that are flimsy as well, doesn't have real substance. If you find your partner with not too much support for you, you can often end up in serious trouble on these hands. The 2-diamond bid is also not the greatest lead directing bid, as you can see. It's only got the ace, so my preference is not to overcall on these hands. That doesn't mean you won't bid again. You could come into the auction with the type of balancing bid later if you deem it the right thing to do, but I tend to steer away, and I think it's correct to steer away from overcalling on such flimsy suits. You can really end up in a lot of trouble. Because if your long suit does not provide the tricks for you, where are they coming from? And it misleads partner about the trick-taking ability of your hand, etc. So I would steer away from overcalling on this type of suit. Yeah, I did find a fit with partner and took the auction away from the opponents. So not all lost, but not the greatest idea in the long run. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Declarer's still got a bit of playing to do with the diamonds not breaking too nicely. I think we'll have to settle for at least 1 down. Of course, East-West, if they knew how the spades were divided, they could have already arranged a spade ruff. But I think that might happen a little bit later on the hand. Declarer is obviously going to trump a club in dummy, and then make some, I would guess, make some sort of play in the diamond suit, but with no spade tricks established yet. He's going to have problems in a while. And of course, all is pretty good and well if we don't get doubled in these part scores where we compete aggressively to the 3 level. But if we do get doubled and go 2 down every time, we're in trouble. So again, I don't think it was the best idea to overcall on such a balanced flimsy suit. Okay, so if East exits with a, doesn't really matter what East plays now. We can see that East's Jack of Diamonds can't get caught and will make eventually. So we're looking at 2 off by North-South. Declarer will chuck a spade, ruff a diamond, and then have to ruff a spade in his hand. So we'll have to concede the Jack of Diamonds to East in the end game. Okay, so 100, no, not too much harm done, minus 100, where the opponents probably had a contract of 2 hearts on. That's not too shabby in pairs. So in pairs, we are often prepared to take more risks with these overcalls to just get into the auctions and maybe get to a good part score. So in match points, maybe a 2, you could consider it, but in teams, it could be pretty dangerous. Okay, so here the 2 diamond overcall didn't do too badly. It did steal a heart contract from the ops. Okay, so 1-0 trump. I suspect a type of don't or Hamilton or multi-landy by North, overcalling 2 spades potentially. Pretty nice hand with 5-4 shape. Okay. Maybe with the primary suit being a little bit flimsy, that could also turn out quite badly. So maybe not a bad action to not overcall, but I don't think a lot of us would not overcall on that hand. And you'll see here on the spade lead, it might be pretty easy for declarer to ultimately build 4 heart tricks, 2 spade tricks, and one other trick. You would imagine there should be another trick that comes from the minors. Oh, so now I don't know how many of us use the rule of 11, and we should. If our partner leads their longest suit against no trumps, we can subtract the face value of the 7 from 11, and that gives us 4. Now 4 is the number of cards that are between the east hand, the south hand, and the west hand. So from declarer's point of view and from South's point of view, they can use the rule of 11 and could come here to the conclusion that of how the cards or the high cards are divided in the suit. Okay, so there's declarer's 7th trick. Okay, so North a little bit desperate here, now trying to find more tricks for his side. Okay, and got a discouraging 8 of clubs from partner, so trying once more. All right, so we've got to be careful as defenders to always want to try and find our partner's hand with good cards and the right cards. We know that West, the 1-0 trump opener, has got at least 15 points. Mark in North looks at 14 points. That's 29 points with 2 queens in the dummy. So that makes it at least 33 points. So our partner's got between about 5 and 7 points and to be in search of those points and trying to find them all the time often only serves to build tricks for declarer. So we must decide whether we're going to opt for a more active defense or whether we're really going all out to find our partner's hand and so on. But be careful to try and find your partner's hand when partner couldn't potentially hold the values that we're looking for. All right, so an easy 8 tricks here to declarer. Not much that the defense could do about at least the first 7. And in the other room, 2 spades did make my north with an overcall, a multi-landy or a Hamilton, and that gained them a little double swing of 6 imps. Okay, so again, does South come into the auction? Definitely not with an overcall, but of course our most flexible bid, the takeout double, tolerance in all the other suits, a bit of length everywhere. Let's try and see whether we can find a fit with our partner. I would have loved to see the ace of spades being rather in the club suit or elsewhere in the hand. We don't like to have too many points in the opponent's suits because they don't build too many tricks for us. So, but a proper auction with a normal outcome. All right, so we can also expect declarer to probably try and play on clubs, hoping for the queen to be on his right. It's his lucky day, so that's nice for declarer. All right, first one works, the second one will work. So one trick to the defense thus far. All right, so Tania making the hard switch, knowing that the hard switch won't generally cost too much, but also keen to get into his partner's hand to play a spade through declarer. And I think we'll see that come up next. Unfortunately for East-West, North just has too many spades, with that jack of spades being very well protected. So North, when the 8 of spades comes back, I think should just play small. And going to be pretty hard for East-West to find too many more tricks. I think we're looking at one more spade trick and one more diamond trick. So it looks like 1 trump plus 1 by North. He's got more than adequate entries to the table, obviously, once he's played that king of clubs. All right, and that's quick claim coming. Okay, so a much closer segment from the Southern Cape's perspective, much better for them. Still a handsome victory at the end for Western Cape. We're going to go on to the last hand of the segment and for the day. And tomorrow night around, I think 7 o'clock will be our final segment. And that will be, I think, by quite a distance, the two top teams in this tournament, the Western Cape and Gauteng. I think it should amount to a final, with somebody probably leading at that stage by the odd victory point. So it will be a proper final. So a lot to play for, and a lot of interest should be generated for that match. So please come and join us tomorrow night around 7 o'clock. You should have the schedules or schedule for play on the SABF website. And again, we'll do a 15 or to 20 minute delayed stream for that match. So please join us. Okay, so I think Nancy's making a decision as to whether she should maybe invite a slam on this hand. I think with 10 pretty much balanced points, I think it's really close. 10 points and a 5-card suit. If our partner is at his maximum, we might just make it. There's good texture in the hand. King 10 of spades, King Jack to 5 diamonds. But generally with 10 counts opposite these opening bids, we aren't quite close enough, or quite at the 33 that we generally need for a slam with two balanced hands. And therefore I think she might go the low road. All right, she didn't go the low road, so she's inviting slam. Quantitative 4-no trump, pretty much saying, partner, are you min or max for your 2-no trump opening bid? And being right on 20, I think this should end the auction. With us being able to see all the cards, this is actually a pretty good slam, I'd reckon. We've got 5 diamond tricks, 2 spade tricks is 7, and 2 club tricks is 9. Now, to play the heart suit for at least 3 tricks should very often not be too much of a problem. With one of the honors generally in the north hand, we can generally expect the king or the jack to be in the north hand. So presuming we play on double finessing, or double finessing lines up to the 9 and then up to the queen, we could very well generate 4 tricks. But of course we can't win them all, we can't bid them all. So, and on this hand wouldn't want to be there because of the king jack of hearts being offsides. I think we'll see soon that Eclair might take a heart finesse, and then later on double finesse the heart, and that would lose 2 tricks for him. There's the first one, hoping for a jack or a king from the north hand. That's not going to happen. and Declarer is going to try it again with adequate entries to the table. He will try that double finesse, and unfortunately for him, he will lose that finesse. All right, so since he might have to finesse against King to 3 left in the north hand twice, he's using all his entries to do so, and unfortunately for him, not quite working today. But this would not have been an unreasonable and a horrible slam to be in, just based on the cards. The points just weren't quite there. So good to stay out of those ones. Lots of imp swinging on those. Remember, with 2 balanced hands, generally the benchmark is about 33 high card points or 33 total points. We should not generally be inviting with 10s opposite 20 to 22. Not ordinary 10s. Okay, so here we have reached the last hand of tonight and today. Thanks for joining us. I hope it was instructive. It's not nice sitting talking to yourself for an hour. I know people think I'm a bit mad, but I'm not quite that mad yet. But I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it. And please join us for the final match tomorrow night around 7. All right, so interesting what route Mark's going to take here. He should make some sort of a value bid, either a cubit raise, so 2 clubs. I think he's a bit strong for a direct splinter. But he should have done a little bit more than just bid 4 spades, in case on the odd occasion his partner's got a really nice 1 spade overcall. Not often that we'll find a slam, of course, after an opening bid by the opposition, but in view of a lot of light openings in the world floating around, we do still see that, we do still see slams, and so on, even after opening bids. So if the hands fit nicely together, so 4 spades is not unreasonable, but I would have made a bit stronger bid, just encouraging my partner a little bit more to something a bit higher, in case he maybe had the right stuff. Of course, Mark wouldn't fancy his 3 little hearts too much. That's not a good holding when the opponents have opened a heart. But Peter could have had King of Diamonds, Ace of Hearts, and Queen Jack to 6 spades, and a slam could have been ice cold. So he took the low road. It's interesting that West here with 4 and playing 4-card majors did choose to lead a club. I don't know whether, I mean, she does have a pretty good holding in the club suit, and maybe thought that there were more tricks, or that was a better suit to potentially build tricks in. Interesting that she didn't lead a heart. I think if my partner opens a suit and I've got a doubleton in it, I would like to lead it for obvious reasons. Maybe we can create a void quite quickly and be able to get the odd ruff. Not unreasonable to lead a club though. All right, so Declarer embarking on a bit of a cross ruff here, but I have a feeling on this line he's going to come short. Yeah, on these hands, what could save you is if you count your tricks up front. Peter clearly decided on a cross ruff. Now he should get home. Let me just see. Have I missed something? Ace of clubs and 3 clubbed ruffs. That's 4 tricks. And 5 spades is in his own hand is 9 tricks. And the ace of diamonds a 10th trick. Should get home, but I'm somewhere a trick short. Okay, so now he's stranded. He's got serious problems. He can draw trumps, and unfortunately, he's going to have to lose 4 heart tricks in the end game. So we should have had 5 spade tricks, 4 club tricks, with 3 club ruffs. So ace of clubs and 3 club ruffs. That should be 5 spades in the south hand, 4 club tricks with 3 ruffs in the dummy. That's 9, and the ace of diamonds. I still feel like I'm missing something. All right, so okay, so in the other room, 4 spades also went down 1. So somewhere I'm missing something. We get a club lead, we ruff a club, we play ace of diamonds, and did he ruff his ace of diamonds? I think so. Okay, not a good idea to ruff your own tricks. Thanks so much on that note. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow night for the final.